OK， 所以劇場同埋機場啊，個分別好大啫。普通話嘅豬場、機場，哇，好似係一樣啫。OK， 所以當時咧，我分唔清啊，我真係分唔清，我聽唔清個區別係乜嘢啦。跟住聽多咗之後，OK 知道，跟住走到自己點樣講啦。It's that our brain filters the sounds of the language that we know. How do we fix that? By brain soaking, by high volume listening. You listen to lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff, so the brain gets used to this new set of sounds, right? And so with Japanese, the L and the R, in their mind, it's this block that's the same sound. So you need to first of all go, okay, there are distinctions in this language that I don't know, but I'm going to look for them, right? So a Japanese speaker would need to go, okay, the English speakers are telling me there are two sounds here. I hear only one, okay, so I'm going to listen until I can hear two. Okay, so I can actually hear that they're different. Okay, now, then you go, all right, so what do I need to do with my tongue and my teeth to make a difference in those two sounds? So when I was learning Mandarin, 刚刚听的时候，他们说剧场跟机场。OK， 所以劇場同埋機場啊，個分別好大啫。普通話嘅豬場、機場，哇，好似係一樣啫。OK， 所以當時咧，我分唔清啊，我真係分唔清，我聽唔清個區別係乜嘢啦。跟住聽多咗之後，OK 知道，跟住走到自己點樣講啦。There are no shortcuts.
No shortcuts?
There are no shortcuts.
I thought you used only 6 months.
Yeah, but that wasn't a shortcut. That was just doing it the right way. Right? If you do it from grammar books and try and analyze grammar and learn thousands of words, 20 years from now you still won't be speaking it. All right? That's not the way to do it. Not the way to do it. You need to do lots of listening, and then you need to really work on getting the sounds right, because like in English, there are 44 sounds. So there's not that many sounds, and you need to hear them and then mimic them. And you need to do that around the words you're going to be using every day. And then you need to start doing some simple interactions, you know? 左边, 右边, 那边, 过来. Again, what I would do for this would be, first of all, you would watch without subtitles. And you'd listen, and you're listening to the sound and you're watching the body language, right? Because 85% of human communication is body language. You will see from the body language, you'll be picking up, if it's a drama or whatever, you're going to be picking up the emotion, you're going to be picking up on the relationships. There are going to be things like someone knocks on the door, right? The person goes over to the door and they go, hey, 谁? And they go, hey, 你啊, 等一下, 开门. You know what's going on just from watching, right? Right. And then they open the door. 来，进来，坐。Right, so you know what they're talking about. You know they're talking about, come on in, take a seat, hurry up, park your ass. So you're already getting that communication, and you're hearing the sound over the top. So you're actually going to be understanding. So if you were doing this in a language textbook, then they would be teaching you 请进, 请坐, right? And that's not what happens. We never know the exact meaning of the discourse, because we can go to deeper and deeper levels to get more and more depths of subtlety in our interactions. But in terms of daily discourse, I just making stuff happen, eating, drinking, greeting people, that's a few weeks. First round, when you're watching movies, you basically get as much meaning as you can from the body language and the context and everything else. Then you can watch again and watch the subtitles. The reason for that is to get more clarity on the detail of the meaning, and then you watch it again without subtitles, at least 3 times. Yeah, if you look little kids, the storybooks, right? They might ask their parents to read a storybook to them 10, 20, 30 times. It's the same process. You're learning a new language the same way you learned your mother tongue as a child. And all you need to do is remember that and go, okay, I'm roughly about a year old now, so I can understand a lot, I can respond to instructions, I can't really say anything. Okay, cool. Then you're 1 year old, right? And then you keep on it and you start trying to say stuff, and if maybe 4 or 5 weeks later, you can say some simple things and get some results in your life, right? And then you're like 2 years old, right? For you little kids, right? They fall over. They laugh generally, and then they get up again. If they hurt themselves, they might cry a little bit, but in most cases they fall over. They look to see if there's an adult who's worried. And if the adult is not worried, then no problem, off they go. If the adult is like, oh, what happened? Then the kid's gonna cry. You've got to find somebody that you can interact with, and like I said, you need to have a language parent. 一個語言家長，咁佢可以通嚟傾偈，咁大量講嘢啦，你大量聽佢講乜嘢啦，你間中插啲嘢入去啦，咁樣嘅關係啦。咁如果佢唔明你講乜，佢應該會或者問你啦，或者佢話：你係呢個意思嗎？咁佢會講翻出嚟啦。咁你聽，係咁樣啦。經過澄清咧，佢係幫你調整。So that's the process. You just need to have these interactions with your language parents, and you'll get corrected because they clarify meaning with you, and they model what you wanted to say in that process of clarifying meaning. They're not correcting you. But in another way, each culture has its own way of understanding the world and understanding life, and those differences are actually really important. And also, right, if you're always speaking your own language and you're not reaching out to understand other people's language, you're never really going to understand them, and you're never going to understand your own potential. So it's important, I think, to actually learn another language. But I also believe a lot of people don't learn other languages partly because of their experience of language learning at school, which achieved one goal, which was to prove to people they couldn't learn another language. Because the evidence is in front of our eyes. Every single person that you meet speaks at least one language, which they learned by themselves without being taught. Right? Every single person in the world, right? So we as human beings know how to learn language. So all we need to do is to remind people of this and remind them of what those elements were that they used when learning their first language, and encourage them to use the same elements again, learning a second language, and everyone's going to be speaking 3 or 4 or 5 languages.